On Sunday evening, Arsenal are playing an absolutely massive game. I keep saying it, but it keeps remaining true. And even title race excluded from this game is absolutely massive. It's a North London derby. We're going to be travelling away from home to play Tottenham Hotspur in a do-or-die game for us. We have to win this game if we want to keep ourselves in the Premier League title race. After Liverpool's loss, they're pretty much out of it. Man City's just beaten Brighton 4-0. If we want to keep in this Premier League title race, well, then we have to win these games. And a North London derby is no different. This is an absolutely massive game. Neither of us are really purring, but coming off that 5-0 win against Chelsea, well, then I wouldn't say our form is all that bad. So I'm very excited. I don't really know what to expect from the game. All I can expect and hope for really is 3 points for the good guys. We need 3 points to end this Premier League title race. A draw is not good enough. A loss definitely ain't good enough. We have to win this game. No different, but especially the fact that it's a North London derby to get some bragging rights, it's even more important. So in today's video, we'll be previewing the game, talking about the potential starting 11 and how I think the game will go. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Gunner Central here. I hope you're all doing well. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, coming to this game, I don't really have to say it to too many of you because we know this very well. We are coming off a dominant display, an absolute thrashing of Chelsea, beating them 5-0. The previous game, we beat Wolves 2-0. So in our past 2 games, we have looked really good. We've kept 2 clean sheets in 2 games. Looked really, really good. But then you dig a little bit deeper before those games. We had that 1-0 loss to Bayern, just a piss-poor effort of a game. And then you go look at that 2-0 loss to Aston Villa, probably one of our worst performances of the season. And then that 2-2 draw with Bayern. So we haven't been in absolutely amazing form. But in the past 2 games, we've been pretty absolutely amazing. Particularly against Chelsea, we're absolutely amazing. Wolves were pretty okay. But that Chelsea game, we were just perfect on every sense of the word. Then you look at the rivals Spurs and how their form is coming into this game. And their form is pretty, I don't know, iffy. I mean, in the last 5 games, they've won 2, lost 2, and drawn 1. Their most recent game was a 4-0 battering that Newcastle handed them. I remember watching that game. Isak just tore them apart, and Spurs lost 4-0. And then their other loss was a 3-0 loss away from home to Fulham. Spurs are not good away from home, as you can tell in their past 3 away games, losing 4-0, drawing 1-1, and losing 3-0. But in their 2 recent home games, they have looked pretty good. They've beaten Luton Town, but I mean, it is Luton Town at the end of the day. And they've beaten Nottingham Forest. The thing that is very interesting for me is obviously Arsenal are by far and away the top goal scorers in the Premier League. But that's not the interesting thing I want to point out. We are the top goal scorers in the Premier League. We've been on absolute fire. I mean, scoring 7 goals in our last 2 games. And Spurs haven't kept a clean sheet in their last 5 games. Maybe there's a weakness to exploit there. Defensively, they're not great. And no Udogie for this game is going to make them even worse defensively. Obviously, they play a high line under Postecoglou. So there is a weakness to exploit for them defensively. They also still are a good team though. Heung-min Son has created the 2nd most chances in the Premier League. I mean, he only has 1 more goal than Bukayo Saka on the same amount of assists. But Son has been really impressive this season, and we need to stay dialed in. If Son starts at left wing, well then Ben White is going to have a handful. And if he starts as striker, which I don't know if he will, I expect actually to pocket Son. Oh, I probably shouldn't be saying that, but I'm kind of hoping that. We need to keep a clean sheet. If we can keep a clean sheet, I'm expecting us to find a way to score. Well, then 3 points are on the way. We need to make sure we capitalize. We need to make sure we take our chances when they're there. We need to win this game. Please, Arsenal, I'm begging. I'm not expecting us to win the Premier League, especially after that 4-0 win from Man City. But can we at least make it close? Can we at least run them to the final day, please? Now, going on to injuries and suspensions. Arsenal injuries. Well, only Jurrien Timber, and he might even, if this may be a little bit hopeful, but he might make a bench appearance. I don't expect him to because he has a lack of fitness. He's only played 1 under 21 game. I mean, he scored a banger in that game, but he has a lack of fitness. He needs to catch up on his fitness. I'm not expecting to see him anywhere in the squad. Although, again, maybe hopefully a bench appearance, but even then I think it'll be a little too early. And then you look at Spurs, and their injury list is a little more lengthy, but not as bad as some other teams that we've played recently. They're going to be without Whiteman. Udogie is a huge miss for them. I really rate Udogie as a left back. Foster's going to be out, but he's their backup keeper, so it doesn't really matter. Solomon, he's been out for a long time. He's going to be out again until June. Richarlison is doubtful for the game, and Richarlison isn't great. Reminds me a little bit of a Nicholas Jackson, but he's a decent enough player that you have to hope that he's not playing just to make him a little bit weaker offensively. And they're going to be without Sessegnon, but that's not really a surprise. Their team, outside of Udogie and Richarlison, is going to be fully fit. Richarlison probably will actually play against us. And they're pretty much fit for the game. Heung-min Son, of course, he's going to be a problem. We need to keep wary of him. Now, yes, Spurs' most recent game was that 4-0 loss to Newcastle. So you might be thinking, well, they're pretty limping. Well, they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. And in that time, since then, we've played 4 games in the time that they've only had to play 1. That is a huge plus for Spurs. They have no excuses coming into this game, regardless of them missing out on some players. They have no excuses coming into this game. They're going to be fully rested, fully fit at home in the North London derby. Our backs are against the wall a little bit, especially after that 4-0 win for Man City. Our backs are against the wall. We're playing a team that's had a 2-week break. We haven't had much of a break at all. We need to get these 3 points, but we're going to be up against it for sure. Now, going on to starting 11 that I would play for the game, I think it's a pretty obvious starting 11 as it usually tends to be. David Raya in goal. The left back is where it's debatable, but I think you just play Tomiyasu there again. He played pretty well against Chelsea, looked good offensively, looked good defensively. I mean, Tomiyasu for me starts at left back. My right back, Ben White, man of the match against Chelsea for me. Although you could say Odegaard, you could say Havertz, whoever it is. For me, Ben White starts at right back. My 2 centre-backs, Gabriel and Saliba. Into midfield now. Thomas Partey, I don't mind starting. The only problem I had with Thomas Partey against Chelsea was that there were times in the game where he kind of got pressed and he got, was indecisive on the ball, or he maybe overhit a pass, just looked a little bit rusty here and there, but his performance was good enough that if he's fit enough to play Spurs, well then for me, Thomas Partey starts at CDM. My midfield is going to be pretty standard. Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, no surprises there. And up front, my starting front 3. Trossard opened up against Chelsea, had a good goal against Chelsea, although Petrovic probably could have saved it. You could argue Martinelli starts at left wing, but for me, I actually am going to go Leandro Trossard at left wing. I think he played a really good game against Chelsea, deserves to start again in this absolutely massive game against Spurs. For me, left wing, Leandro Trossard, right wing, Bukayo Saka, no surprise there. And at striker, yet again, the guy who's coming off 2 goals against Chelsea, Kai Havertz. Really good performance against Chelsea. Jesus is pretty good, but he seems like a good backup as of right now. Havertz is in form. He's a handful for defenders at times. For me, up top, Kai Havertz. There, guys, that's the video. Let me know in the comments below what starting 11 would you play for the game. What are your predictions for this massive game? Please be sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.